ladies and gentlemen, our third meeting for the night. We are here Wednesday night, September 19th at 6:25 in the evening, 790 Homestead Boulevard. And we're going to call to order the City Council meeting. Pastor Chris Castro, Deacon of King Jesus Ministry Church, will give the invocation. Pledge allegiance will be given by Councilman Maldonado, and delivered. The flag will be delivered by police explorers. Would you all rise, please?
Father God, thank you for this precious and wonderful day that you have made. We thank you for the blessings you have given the city of Homestead and the many blessings that are to come, going into the 100th anniversary. Father, I ask you to lead these leaders and to bless them individually with wisdom and knowledge to lead up our city of Homestead and our people towards a prosperous and abundant, healthy life. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Honor guard, left hand shut. Can't read colors. Forward, march. Honor guard, out. Left face. Freeze hand, on.
Please join me as we honor our nation's flag. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Order, march. Right face. Forward, march.
Please be seated, and thank you, Deacon Castro and police explorers. Madam Clerk, call the roll.
Councilwoman Faircloth McCormick.
Here.
Councilman Maldonado.
Here.
Councilman Shelley.
Here.
Councilwoman Woolman.
Here.
Councilman Williams.
Present.
Vice Mayor Burgess.
Here.
Mayor Bateman.
Here. Thank you, Madam Clerk. See that the agenda's moved around a little bit, but we're going to start right off with public comment. Public comment, everyone will get a couple minutes. If you desperately need more, I'll maybe give you an extra minute. Let's try to keep it to 2 minutes if we can, because we have a big agenda. Yes, ma'am, name and address for the record.
Vielka Dyer, 1920 Southeast 17th Avenue, Homestead, Florida. I have come to this meeting because there seems to be a problem, and since I have all the council members present, I would like to make this address. For the past 2 years, the Community Relations Board and the Southwest Advisory Board has been planning the MLK breakfast, the Martin Luther King breakfast. And we began doing that again this year. There has never been a chairperson. We have always met, and it's been a democratic process. We started that this year again. The Community Relations Board invited the Southwest Advisory Board to a meeting, which we had last week, and it was sent out to all the members of the Southwest Advisory Board, including their chair. We had representation of 2 people from the Southwest Advisory Board. We began making preparations for the breakfast, and on Saturday I received an email from Councilman Jimmy Williams telling us to cease, that he was the chair of the MLK breakfast, and that he would, and I have the email right here, to cease planning until he began the planning with the city employees. And he sent this email to the Southwest Advisory Board, to the Community Relations Board, and to the city manager. I then contacted our liaison, which is Councilwoman Patricia, and I shared with her, which she also got the email, where do we go from here? Where do we go from here? Because there seems to be a conflict. Both the Southwest Advisory Board and the Community Relations Board began their meeting and began doing preparations, and all of a sudden we get this email to stop, that he's the chairperson. We have never had a chairperson. We have had joint meetings and have done planning together for this event. And now, nobody, I have asked our our liaison person, Councilwoman Patricia, where do we go from here?
Thank you.
And I haven't heard from anybody.
Thank you. Yes, Mr. Fairclough.
I had the opportunity to be at that meeting where the Southwest Advisory members and the Community Relations Board members sat down to craft out the MLK breakfast, and it seemed to have gone well with me. It appeared to me that it was a very democratic process. And then after the email that we received, Ms. Viola Dyer reached out to me, and I had shared to her that I would reach out to Councilman Williams to discuss with him what are our next steps. But I got a little queasy feeling about that because I figured it wouldn't be proper to speak with him about that, considering it may come before the dais and we may potentially vote on it. So at this point, I think it should be a collective conversation with all of us to answer the question, in fact, where do we go from here?
I think that's your point. We're all together tonight,
Right.
under the sunshine, and you want some direction.
And I want directions of where we go.
Okay. Mr. Williams?
Sure. I would appreciate if you had read the whole email than just put snippets out there. Let me read the email that I sent. And let me give some background information on why we're here tonight. She could have called me, the chairperson of the board, but she had not called me, so I don't know why she's bringing it to a public meeting forum, but that's okay, because I have every right to defend what the allegations are, and I like the truth to be told. But if in the future, if you have anything you need to discuss with me, feel free to call me at 305-282-4467, the city cell phone, or you can email me at jwilliams@cityofhomestead.com. I'll be glad to discuss any issue with you. Let me read the email. As the chair of the Martin Luther King breakfast, I was not told or informed of such meeting. As the chair, I have not called a meeting. When I meet with the Southwest Advisory Committee, we will update everyone else on the planning of the breakfast. The Southwest Advisory Board has already started planning for this great celebration of the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. breakfast. I ask that any further planning meetings stop until I have organized the group and have met with the city staff and others in the process of planning the breakfast. Thank you for your cooperative spirit and splendid support to help and aid in the planning process of the Martin Luther King Jr. breakfast. Let me go back about 3 years ago when we first got elected. There was no community relation board. And so at that time it was Pat Mellison, myself, and Rosemary Fuller. And we did the necessary plannings because there was no CRB. And so from that point, as the mayor designated me at that time to be the chair of the Martin Luther King breakfast. Every year we've done the planning process. What we did was last year, because we want to be inclusive, and the Southwest Advisory Board and the Community Relation Board that exists now came together as a collaborative effort to try to make it better. Well, unfortunately, since we want to put it out in the public, every time I would get an update or a call, it was always will be to the extent that it's downing the Southwest Advisory Board, that they never came to any meetings. This is from your mouth. That they never came to any meetings prepared, that the Community Relation Board did all the work, and it had become so combative and uncooperative with the board president that I felt that this year, let us organize first, and then we'll take that appropriate step to call everybody together. But I sent the email because I was not notified that that was going to be on their agenda. And as it relates to, as a liaison to the Southwest Advisory Board, I felt that I should have been emailed as regards to that meeting, especially in the planning of the Southwest Advisory Board for the Martin Luther King breakfast. So that's why we're here, ladies and gentlemen, tonight. Thank you so very much, Mayor.
He was sent an email about the invitation for the meeting, as well as every member of the Southwest Advisory Board. We looked at the email. I looked at the email that was sent out by our clerk, and she had included him and every member of the Southwest Advisory Board to the meeting. And last year, they were invited to every meeting. They attended very few of our meetings. And we made sure that this year, we told them that we wanted them at our meetings.
Mayor? Yes. Please, thank you. Let me say this. If you're a liaison of a committee, and every time you get a call or update, it's always bashing the committee, the Southwest Advisory Committee, and might I say, Madam Fairclough, you served on that committee last year, and the only persons, she would say, they didn't hardly participate, and then I had to give the history of why the Martin Luther King breakfast. It is not about race, it is about the dream, it is about becoming more equality, and the presentations and the awards that were handed out last year did not demonstrate the philosophy and the theological principles of why the Martin Luther King breakfast was existing. And so as I felt that it was going off course, as a person who has continuity and know about the breakfast and the history of it, I felt at that time to let them know back in January that wasn't the purpose of it. And so as we begin to plan this year, did not want to repeat last year, so what you do, you correct those things now. And so before any planning has started with picking honorees, speakers, or anything of that nature, I felt that I need to help convene the committee, be told appropriate that this is what's going to be on their agenda. I do not get their agendas. I'm not a part of that committee. So I would not know what was at stake if you invited me to something that didn't say Martin Luther King breakfast. So if we're going to go back and forth tonight about this issue, then I feel that it's a waste of time to have persons here who have items on the agenda that really needs our attention. We can have a discussion later on about this, because where do we go from here? I just outlined it for you. And we can call a meeting back in October where we can go to a dialogue and discuss everything out in the open. But I feel that this is not the place or forum to do that in.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Williams. Ma'am, I think what you were trying to do was speak to all of us collectively within
Yes.
the sunshine, and that's what public comments for.
Right.
I think you came at the right spot, right time. I'm sorry that it went this far, but let's move on with our program. I think you've made a valid point. I think we've all heard you, and we'll work on the outcome, all right?
Okay.
Between the two
Thank
boards.
you.
And I'm happy that we have this many people in this community who want to work on different boards. So thank you very much.
Mayor, if I can just
Yes,
add
please.
something to that. From last year, I had heard rumblings, Councilman Williams, also that the Southwest Advisory Board did not feel that they had an equal voice in the process. And as I sat inside of the meeting and towards the end, I made it clear, and it's on the minutes, that we would like the Southwest Advisory Committee to have an equal voice into the process. We welcome their participation into the planning of the breakfast, and I didn't want it to be a unilateral decision-making process, whereas the Community Relations Board decisions trump the Southwest Advisory Board's recommendations. And the two members from the SWAC that were there, they were nodding their head in agreement, because I wanted to rectify the situations that transpired last year to ensure that that process didn't go like it did last year. So I feel that the two members that were there, although it wasn't a quorum, they felt satisfied that I had, in the most politically correct way, expressed their concerns.
And might I add, and I'm very appreciative to your comments and what you have done being a part of that. But it's just like, for instance, me going to someone's house and they're not knowing I'm coming, and I just go unexpected, and they don't even know I'm here. And so I feel that respect ought to be given to the consensus of the body, which I respect. Whatever you all discuss, that's fine. All I ask that you all stop the planning until we've had an opportunity from the Southwest Advisory Board to convene, and then we'll come together. That's all. That's the intent of that email. And, you know, so now I understand why these council liaison assignments sheets are here tonight. So I guess this was a political thing. I don't know, but it's nice and cute. But so we all know where we are supposed to be. And so I feel at the same time that if we plan and that if we're going to work together, then one board will not talk about another board. And if they're not going to be infected, because that's not great leadership. That's not great leadership. And so anybody who is on a board of the city, hopefully we can bring that cohesiveness environment, not to say that, Councilman Shelley, your board didn't quite participate the way it should expect. No, if we're all in this together, then, Mayor, then we pick up the pieces. If I drop something, somebody comes behind me and pick up the pieces. Not talk about the board, but make it better.
Okay, thank you. Listen, just to clear the form here, I can tell you this form is not about that. It's about Economic Development Council that's going to be brought forward tonight. It has nothing to do with what...
It just seems so appropriate at this time.
No, it's a new committee that we're going to bring on during this budget process, before the new budget process. Well,
okay.
After the budget process. Yes, ma'am. Please come forward.
Oh, let me lighten it up.
Thank you. Hey.
Doris Manassas, 35055 Southwest 214th Avenue, Florida City. For those of you who don't know me, I'm a columnist with the South Aid News Leader. I write A Walk in My Shoes. If you follow my column, which you all should be doing, you'd know that I say what people think. And I recently wrote about the upcoming NASCAR races in November, and my goal to better connect the city with NASCAR. That starts just with me, because I admitted to my new buddies at the track that I know absolutely nothing about what goes on out there, the racing or whatever. And I still really don't know, but they promised that the old lady's going to learn by the end of the racing season. When the track first opened, I remember seeing signs all over the city of Homestead welcoming NASCAR fans. Not so much anymore. As I said in my article, it seems like we've rolled up the welcome mat, shoved it in the shed, and done away with it. In an attempt to involve the community, I've contacted the president of the Homestead Miami Speedway and am working with my Speedway boys. I have designed a contest, many contests, wherein we are involving students writing essays and drawing race cars in our schools. We're including restaurants and area businesses and residents in order to bring attention to the races. Dr. Larry Feldman has been involved and is a wonderful asset, as he's already issued a directive to the schools. Can you imagine a grand prize winner, one of our students, getting picked up at home and taken to school in the pace car for the track? Can you imagine that? And all the winners, all the students, 2 on each grade level, receiving 2 sets of tickets, not for one lousy race, for all 3 races, and being recognized publicly on Saturday at the race, and their work being displayed at a public area of the track. It's already done. It's going to happen. Now it's your turn. I need you to jump on the wagon here with me. I can't do this alone. I need you to I know that you attend the race as part of the lease agreement with the racetrack and everything else, but I want more. Our businesses are going to be involved in a contest where people going into their business can win tickets. It's going to be businesses that are flying a special 3x5 banner. I need the council tonight, right here, right now, to waive the fee for the permit that I heard was $90, now I heard it's $30, and also the application process from October 1st to the end of the races. No one else within the city seems to have the authority to waive it, and I need it to happen. I also want one more thing. I want you to think of some ideas to help better involve the community as well. Now let me ease your fears, because automatically I know you're going to think, what's this going to cost? It's not going to cost you anything, because the Speedway is going to do all the printing. They'll even print banners for on your street lamp post if you'll agree to have them hung. All it's going to cost is some man work hours. We need to get the community involved and welcome people. Ladies and gentlemen, isn't it time that we do something to make our guests feel welcome? I personally feel it's high time that we get that welcome mat out of the shed, dust it off, and display it proudly. Thank you.
Very well put.
We need you to waive that fee.
Okay, I'm going to open that to the council members. Come here.
I jump.
Mayor?
I jump. I want pink.
I move that we waive the fee and
Application?
application fee, is that what it is?
Process, yes.
Process. All that you need to have done, so that we can be a good...
For a 3x5 banner.
And I'll second that.
All right.
Third.
And she'll third it, fourth it.
Done deal.
So I think it's time. You made some very good points. It is time to roll out the welcome mat.
And I expect to see you all at all the activities for the races this week. And I have no vested interest other than an old lady who knows nothing about NASCAR. Thank you.
Well put. All right. That was a motion by Mr. Williams, seconded by myself. The mayor, all in favor? Aye. Nays? Item carries. All right, yes, ma'am. Just make an introduction.
Wow, if everything was that easy, I think I need her to be my spokesperson. Hot dog. Holly Rashine, 714 Barcelona Road, Key Largo, Florida, 33037. Council members, city manager, I want to first commend you on a fantastic budget. You crafted a responsible budget that doesn't raise taxes. You make my job, or my potential job, a lot easier. Thank you so much.
This is our third year in a row.
I know, it's amazing. I read it in the newsletter. Excellent.
All right.
Excellent. Well, like I said before, I'm Holly Rashine, and I am running to be your next state representative in Tallahassee. I've had the pleasure of already working for you nearly a dozen years in the process, both here at home and in Tallahassee. And I'm unique that I've worked under a Republican leader, Representative Ken Sorensen, who we all dearly miss, and of course our most recent representative, Ron Saunders. And I can truly say that my candidacy transcends party lines, and I will be able to cross the aisle and get results for you. I know all too well the issues that are facing all of us, improving education, and I think for the first time in many years, the state may not be facing a deficit. And it's my hope, and I think it's our governor's hope, that we're going to put any extra money towards education. And that's where it belongs, I believe. I also know that we need to create jobs, and that's the key word of this entire election, is putting people back to work. And also, I'm well aware of windstorm insurance, property insurance, and what are we going to do about that? I'm up to speed on all things citizens and otherwise. I just want to let you know my race is going wonderfully, and I would appreciate everybody's support. My website is hollyrashine.com. If you have any questions on anything specific, I'd be happy to take them now or later.
Excellent website.
Thank you. Thank you.
Any questions from council? Good luck. Thank you so much, and good luck.
Thank you. Thank you. And my signs are coming down at least a day or two after the election, don't worry. A necessary evil.
Okay, Joel, the next person, you?
Good evening.
Good evening.
Michael Bromley, 1596 Northeast 8th Street in Homestead. Council members, Mr. Mayor, we have been doing business in Homestead for, I believe, close to a dozen years. We own and operate the Storage America facility on Campbell Drive. And we come to you this evening, my partner and I, because we'd like to ask a few questions and share our experience with the development process for a new project that we've been involved with for a couple of years. We've invested over $100,000 of our own resources into the project to develop a retail center, a retail strip shopping plaza, and yet through the entitlement and the permitting process, we have come to learn that while the project would, when built, will deliver an opportunity for new businesses and jobs here in the community that obviously are sorely needed, as we all know, having been doing business here for years now. We have learned that there is an issue with a recently completed pump station. The pump station that is known as PS 1021 has a sewer capacity issue. As a result of the sewer capacity issue, when trying to process the plans through Miami-Dade Water Sewer, effectively we have learned that there's the equivalent of a building moratorium here in Homestead, if you can imagine that, for a commercial property that we're involved in, as well as this general area that is serviced by this downstream pump station. we would like to know, now that we've spent considerable sums of money, and we are unable to make it through the development process, we're unable to secure permitting or approval for this project, we'd like to learn what steps the city plans to take, as we understand the funding is available. The pump station, even though it was only recently completed at the end of 2011, it is under capacity, and it was improved in 2011. It is under capacity, and currently there is a moratorium affecting any additional building permits being issued. This is a hardship not only for us, as we have some financing that is contingent on the development of this project that would be expiring, but we'd like to know that what the city has planned to remedy this issue, because, as I said, effectively it's a moratorium on new development, and it's preventing businesses that are looking to expand or locate in the community. It's preventing developers like ourselves from being able to bring a project like this to the marketplace.
Mr. Bria, help me. I'm sinking.
Through the mayor and council. Yes, in reference to that pump station, you're absolutely right. We did some improvements to that pump station back in approximately about a year and a half ago. The improvements that were proposed for that pump station didn't bring up the capacity up to where it's needed to be in terms of the 10-hour criteria that Durham has. So we're working with Durham now with sort of like a plan B to improve that pump station. What Durham has asked us to do is to put together a plan of action that will bring that pump station back under 10 hours. We're working on that now with them, and once they get that from us, they will lift that station. What they do is, right now it's an initial moratorium, which means that if you propose an improvement for it, they give you 12 months basically for people to tie in, etc. And during that time, we just have to prove that the pump station will work properly. So that's what we're working with them on, and we expect that within the next, at the latest, I would think that within the next 2 weeks, we'll have that issue resolved regarding that pump station.
Excellent. Wow. That's a for real answer, huh? 2 weeks?
That's, I've been talking with them for the past, because they're not the only ones that are impacted by this pump station, so we've been dealing with them for quite a while on this issue, trying to get it resolved.
Jobs.
I just want to chime in. Edmund Lidisor, 1596 Northeast 8th Street as well. Are you saying that this will be resolved in the next 2 weeks favorably, or do the improvements need to occur again with another 1-year period of monitoring?
No, so during that 1-year period of monitoring, you can tie in. Anybody can tie in. So there's no, in other words, the moratorium is lifted during that period of time.
Dade County's going to take our word for it that we've got a plan of action. Therefore, for the next 12 months, we can continue on with permits.
That is fantastic news, and news that we didn't know about. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay. Hey, you come to City Hall, you get the answers, right? Yeah, it looks like that. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Joel Fernandez. Thank you.
Hello, Joel Fernandez, 710 Southeast 29th Drive, Homestead. I'm here tonight to ask support of the City of Homestead, both individually and collectively, for the Larry Little Legends Golf Classic. This year, the Larry Little Legends Golf Classic, all proceeds for the Golf Classic will go to Swim for Jenny, which, as you know, is a Homestead-originated group, which now has grown tremendously with the support of Dade County Park and Recreation and celebrity host or celebrity lead Dick Anderson. Now, Dick Anderson's the celebrity lead of that particular group, and he is teamed now with the Larry Little Foundation. And as you know, Larry and Dick were teammates with the Miami Dolphins on the 72 Perfect team. And Larry Little himself has tremendous ties to the city of Homestead. You know, Larry played in a day where the players weren't making millions and millions of dollars. And he, along with a lot of the other guys he played with, had to have second jobs. And Larry, here in Homestead, taught at Homestead Middle School, and many of you, Mayor Bateman, Kevin, I just said hello. Anyway, we okay? All right. And not only did he teach here, but when he made it with the Dolphins, he ran camps at what was then Biscayne College, St. Thomas University today, where he would send buses down to Homestead to pick up the kids at Homestead, Naranja, Leisure City, Florida City, bring them up there free of charge to have a football camp. Well, it was a number of years ago, and one of those kids that he brought up as my partner in this thing, Senior Vice President of Community Bank, Willie Carpenter. And those type of things are the type of things that Larry was involved with. And as you know, Swim Jenny takes the position that every kid in Dade County should swim. They should know how to swim. It's ridiculous that they don't, and this is a big deal. Anyway, I am asking that the City of Homestead consider a first-team sponsorship for this. Now, I know that my partner, my buddy Willie, has already talked to some of you. I know that. I'm aware of that. And I yelled at him for that. He kind of took my thunder away. But the bottom line is that we're together on this, and we're asking for a collective effort. And if you can see yourself to do that, we'd appreciate it. Like I said, this is a Homestead-based group that we're funding, and it's a great organization. And Larry brings in 12 to 15 Hall of Famers. And let me tell you something. I'm the MC of the event, and it's a gas. It really is. The party the night before at the Calvert Racetrack and Casino is something else, and then we go from there. But anyway, I apologize for my attire. I just came from a game. I didn't have a chance to, we didn't lose either. We just ran out of time. But anyway, okay, that's it. And anything you can do would be greatly appreciated, and you know where to find me.
Questions from council?
Any questions? Yeah.
Joel.
Yes, Ms. Wallman, how are you?
Fine, thank you. We've known each other most of our lives, but I just want to say that I had just a happenstance meeting with Jenny's mother a couple of weeks ago, just you know, not planned or anything. And I can tell you that this cause is so worthwhile and so important. As a child, I'll tell you a secret, you know, I came from a very poor family. My dad was a disabled veteran, and I never had swimming lessons. I get out there and I read Doris's articles and stuff about her swimming those laps in those pools, but I've never really been proper. I mean, I dog paddle and I do the whole bit, and I have my little floaters, but this is so important, and of course, Joel and I have talked. I haven't talked to Willie, but I talked to Joel before, and it was so important to me that I took the brochure to our Parks and Recs director, and as you all know, we're taking over the 3 parks, you know, from the police department, and we have the pool down at Roby George. So somehow or another, I'll be bringing something before council eventually to incorporate the Swim with Jenny, because it's that important to me. And I encourage each and every one of you to support this. I don't know if we need a motion now, or I don't even know what we're asking. You're asking for a sponsorship, right?
Yes, I am.
$4,000 sponsorship.
I gotta get that lady back up here. She was really good. She got you to vote right away.
You're going to be everybody's cheerleader. Are you?
No, I'm asking for it, yes. I'm asking that you do that, and if you can, that'd be great.
$4,000 sponsorship? Is it a $4,000?
The first team is a $5,000 sponsorship, but what it does, you should have all the information up there, I hope. I was told that you did. You were going to have it.
I don't. I'm going by memory here, but Mr. Attorney, is it appropriate to make a motion now to move this?
You'd have to ask the manager where we have funds for that tonight.
Do we have funds for that, Mr. Manager?
They would have to come from a contingency.
I normally don't do this, but to me this is so important, because these kids, there's so many children in Homestead that never have the opportunity to have their parents pay that money, or parents working and can't take their kids to swimming lessons. But with the Swim with Jenny program, for those that you don't know, this little girl died. It was about, Joel, 2 years ago, right? No,
correct.
A year ago March.
It was about a year and a half ago, yeah, a year and a half
March. And she died because she was with a group of girls and she jumped into a lake swimming pool. I don't know remember what it was. And, you know, she thought she could do it, I guess, and she couldn't, and she died. And this is a family who were immigrants. They came here from Vietnam, and they now own their own business in Homestead. I mean, they've worked really hard. In the Oasis Shopping Center, they've worked really, really hard. So I'm going to, because this is next month, right?
No, it's December. It's in December.
Oh, so we have time.
You have time.
So would you rather us wait, Mr. Manager?
I would prefer to wait so we can at least understand what this is and
Okay.
figure out the funding source and
Okay.
whatnot.
Ms. Wallman, I'm okay with that. I trust in the city, and I trust in the people that I know, and I'm sure that you all do the right thing, and I appreciate your efforts.
And maybe we could get Larry Little to come down and kick off our swim with Jenny at the...
Well, Larry's a great guy, and I'll tell you, he may help out. He may help out with a lot of things.
Thanks, Joel.
Okay? See y'all.
Thank you, Joel, for coming. Pastor, good evening.
My name is Pastor Irvin Tony Green.
Pastor, pull the mic a little bit closer. Thank you.
God bless you all. My name is Pastor Irvin Tony Green. I'm very much concerned about Homestead. I went to Mays High School. I went to South Bend here, and I went to A.L. Lewis. And I left here in 1985, and I made my residence in Orlando, Florida. And I decided to come back home for after so many years, and most of my family here. So when I got back to Homestead, I walk the community, and I see the lost families and children. I see a hurting environment, and I've been dealing with the homeless population for 36 years. And so I decided to come home and see about the family. And I had a chance to talk with the mayor a few weeks ago, and so I had to return back to Orlando because my 3 kids in Orlando. So Saturday passed, I got back here and I brought a truckload of food because the storm that they had and all the rain that was going on, and I decided to come and bless the community Saturday at 4 o'clock. And I would like for the city to let me come a little closer so that what had happened Saturday night at 4 o'clock.
Oh, beautiful. Beautiful. Good job.
And what I would like to do, I happen to see this building down 4th Street by Homestead Park. There's a blue building there. And it needs some work done to it. I would like to take that building. I would like to do what we call a food, clothing. I would like to help people get their IDs. They help them get their Social Security. I would like to help men get back in the house with their families. God can do all those things through His Word. But I need help to better the situation. The crime rate is overwhelming at times. And not too many people going into the drug neighborhood, but I don't have no problem with that. But I need help. I would like to deal with that. But if y'all can help me, help this multitude of hurting people who need some guidance. Our young people need guidance. Our young boys and young girls need some direction. But if I can get y'all help to help me make a difference, He's going to help all of us.
And so we can,
that's the reason why I'm here.
as I remember quickly, so we can bring this to closes, you needed some help with that building, correct?
Yes,
as far
sir.
as what, opening it up? Or
Open it up, and the lights, the water, just need a lot of work done to it.
Yeah, it belongs to Mr. Brown, Willie Brown?
Yes, sir. I did, me and Mr. Brown was working together on it, and so I just gotta raise the money to get the lights on and the water. I took care of the rent on it. I did some painting. I did some painting with the building this week.
Okay.
I moved out a lot of stuff that, because the building was sitting for a long time.
Right.
And I also went to talk to Kathy at the zoning department, and my understanding, she said that $80 for every event that I will bring there at the building, and then also she was sharing some other few things with me about what I'm going to have in there, and I share with that.
Well, look, why don't you sit down with our CRA department, Community Redevelopment Agency, and talk to them about a grant that we have coming up, all right?
All right.
Sit down with them. Is he here? Yep, there he is. See, he raised his hand. Go back and swap your name and address with him. He'll tell you where to come, and that's our avenue. That's our avenue of funding right there.
All right.
And you're right in the middle of that area. So,
Thank you.
You know, I think you do a good job. Look, we don't have our new funds yet because, you know, we just ratified everything tonight, but I'll be more than happy to make a small donation to you myself.
Thank you, sir.
Okay?
I appreciate it.
Thank you, sir. Okay, we'll move around. We're going to try to stay at 3 minutes, no more than 3 minutes, okay? Thank you, sir.
Hello, I'll be quick. Alejandro Fiallos, I reside at 1934 Southeast 17th Street, Keysgate, The Shores. Just wanted to know what can we do to make this a golf course community, golf cart community.
I didn't even recognize you, yeah.
Yeah, we've discussed it in the past.
Yeah.
It takes, my kids attend Keysgate Charter. It's 5 minutes away, 2 minutes away. It's so easy, so convenient to drive them over in the golf cart. However, Homestead Police has kindly advised us not to do that it is illegal. We have a golf course, beautiful golf course right across the street.
Right.
However, we can't use a golf cart.
I think that we talked. He caught me out in public somewhere, and we talked about it, and I told the councilman, here he is. Bottom line is this, you're right. We live in a golfing community. Palmetto Bay did this, and I don't know if Cutler Bay did it, but I know Palmetto Bay did it. And I think it requires a 30 or 35 mile an hour speed limit. But we need to look into it. We need to look into at least that area where people are coming from their homes to go to that golf course. I don't know about school or whatever else, but I know it's a golfing community. And to drive out of my or his neighborhood to go over to the golf course, or drive out of Villages of Homestead, which is still close, to go to the golf course, it should happen. And I hope the council agrees with me, but it should happen. It should be a relaxed ordinance or law, whatever we need to do. Let's look into what Palmetto Bay has done. Can you put somebody on that for me? In next council meeting, we'll report back to you.
Excellent.
Okay? In
Excellent.
October? Yes, ma'am.
I've had calls on this as well,
Yeah,
and
you're
I've had meetings on it, and I went to staff. Could we kind of tell them where we're at with that? Because, I mean, people want it so badly, and rather than wait in that line of cars and you drive your kid over in a golf cart, I'm all for it.
Change the speed limit, is what you gotta do.
We can look into it and get back to you. I don't know that anybody, do you have the authority?
We're very friendly with Palmetto Bay. I'm sure they'll tell you how it took place.
But I mean, I think that we're trying to move forward to that, weren't we?
I don't know.
Yeah, we were, but we never came to any conclusion on that. But if we want to look into it, you know, we can, and we'll bring it back our recommendation, and then we'll go from there.
Chief, what I'll do, I'll reach out to Palmetto Bay. I'll try to get their ordinance and how they did it, and then we can sit down and talk, all right?
Okay.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Quick question. In the meantime, can we use the golf carts to cross the street, go to the...
I think you could probably cross the street safely enough. I'm not it's an ordinance. That street is 45 miles an hour, is it not? Is it 45 miles an hour?
40 miles an hour.
344. It's
40
40 miles an hour. And I think it needs to be 32 or some odd number. So I don't think that we're at the liberty to tell you that you can break a law or ordinance.
Okay.
I think that we're going to look into it. I'm going to be very aggressive on it.
Please.
I know the mayor. I'll ask her to send us down what they did and the study they did on it, and I think that the area deserves it.
Thank you.
You got a beautiful golf course.
Definitely.
Appreciate it. Thank you very much. Have a good night.
Thank you. I'm sorry, I forgot who you were. Thank you. I don't know, but that right hand looks more than 3 minutes.
Actually, I brought a dozen people so I can at least keep an hour, you know, so we're okay.
Well, they better get mine. With their name.
And I actually noticed you didn't run the clock when you run the other, some other people. I got some stuff I'd like to give to y'all before we start.
Sure, sure. Thank you.
County road, so we don't have jurisdiction now.
Hey, bro.
I'll do what the county received when change the speed limit, but if there's some enforcement, that'll be the police department. I don't know they get their
Step out for a second, so.
We have to do the public.
You ready?
Yes, sir.
Ready.
My name is George Wright. I resided at 28375 Southwest 197th Avenue. I grew up in Homestead all my life at 1411 Northeast 10th Street. My wife and 4 of my employees are here to give me a little bit more time. And I just been battling for over 4.5 years with a development that I paid a lot of money for. And then I ended up buying the Greyhound bus station 2.5 years ago, 3 years ago. And the city planning made a bunch of zoning changes and did a bunch of things because of the way the bus station sat and the way they developed the new development that I've already bought and paid for everything to be, but I'm still waiting on sewer 4.5 years later. I've had major problems with my neighbor, and I just need some help. Number one is I got in a little notepad here is how do I stop the interruption of my business? They get multiple deliveries time and time and time during the day, and they stop and block the exit to my property, which the city designed a one-way flow of traffic that the people can only leave my property that one way. It interrupts my business daily, every day of business. I don't interrupt his business at all. Number two, I showed some pictures at a meeting with Dave of a big quartering spill where it's running down into my driveway. I showed them to Dave, and he basically told me, God, it looks like you got a lawsuit. I also talked to Dave at one other time.
David Heber.
And he told me that the road behind my property was deemed a road. And when I did the plans 4.5 years ago or 5 years ago with CRA and all, they all converted it to a road, and it's even on the tax roll. If you look in your package, you'll see a dadecounty.gov where they have it listed as a road. The city designed this project. I didn't. I went to them. The plans were set back like the other buildings and all, and the city chose to change the whole project because the new aesthetic way for the future is to have the business up front by the road and the millage business be going on behind it. And I spent $30,000 to redo my plans to meet this. I jumped through all the hoops. Now the city don't want to stand behind me on what the city did. I've been talking to city managers, I've been talking to I've been talking to everybody, and nobody stands behind it, but yet they wanted me to spend all my money to change this project. And I did, and I met all their requirements. The funny part about it is, I own another lot on Fifth Street. Every time my property gets a foot tall in grass, I get a letter, and they're going to fine me $250 and do all this stuff to make sure I mow the grass. The owner of the pool company fills his chlorine tanks and everything behind his property on city property. It destroys the road. It's been destroying the road for years. The city sends people out there on my tax dollars to repair the road, but yet I get fined over my grass being 6 inches.
Well, let's stick, the time's,
Okay.
we're going to go further, but let's stick to the issue.
Okay. The issue, yeah. Okay, the issue is I've been asking for months to show me where this tank's legal. I've been asking for months and years for my business to quit getting interrupted. If you look at the pictures, you'll see semis backed in, and they're all parked across my driveway, where I also have some of my customers here will tell you that they can't even leave my premises when they get in there. And it's created a major problem, and this is just for the lawnmower store. Could you imagine?
The rest of you.
I own a half a city block there that I've invested in doing my bit. I've grown and lived in Homestead my whole life, and I've invested a half a city block there. The city designed the plans, the city created the plans, the city made all the movements. I did everything they wanted to, even though part of it I didn't want to do, but they showed me how it would work and do everything. There's a letter from Rick Stotts there when it was all done, what we all agreed upon. I actually have been trying to be a good neighbor, because where he actually does his chlorine fill, and it's a handicap parking space, but I never put up the sign to try to be a good neighbor, and I'm getting run over here. And I've spoke to everybody I could think of, from the chief of police to every council member here, and I would like some satisfaction. I would like something to happen. So, you know, I just want somebody to, I don't want to interrupt his business, but I don't want my business interrupted either. If you look at the property, he has 24 foot of passing roadway in front of his building. He has 12 foot of passing roadway behind his building. The design and permit of my plans, I have 12 foot to exit a whole city block. Now, does that sound fair? I'm willing to deal with it, but I can't not have my business interrupted day in, day out, all the time. If you pull out of my parking lot of my store, there's a huge pothole there. You can see it in the picture. That is done by this chlorine. You can see in the pictures where the chlorine spilled. All I'm asking is the pool guy to conduct business on his property like I am asked to do on my own property. But what I feel the reason he don't want to do it is he wants to destroy city property, my property, but he don't want to dump that chlorine on his property like the back of all these trucks that have chlorine and everything else.
All right, let me say a couple things so we
Okay.
can get moving here. Mr. Manager, look, this is no rocket science here. You can't tell me that structure that's put up there. Tell me, is there a permit for that structure? Is there a permit for that 4 walls that are put up 2.5 feet off the edge of the roadway? There has got to be easement. If that is truly Fourth Road, if that is really a road, there is no way you can build 2.5 feet off of a roadway.
Mr. Mayor.
Yes, sir.
Members of the council, I looked back in the records.
Yeah, Mike.
I'm sorry.
That's all right.
Sorry about that.
That's all right.
I looked back into the records, as reference to the old written down records. I have heard that there was one there before. I mean, I don't know when it was put there. I have no idea.
That's irrelevant. But I don't care if it's 50 years old. You can't build off the edge of a road 2.5 feet, Tom.
Mayor, Julio's done some research on this. I think it'd be helpful.
Yeah, I can probably shed some light on this. When this issue came up, what I did is I contacted Dade County to see what kind of permits were pulled for that particular operation. Durham is in charge of regulating pool, anything having to do with chemical handling, etc. So they are involved in this. It's called an industrial control permit, and it's, in this particular case, it's an industrial control permit 5, which deals with chlorine and liquid type of chemicals that could be corrosive, etc. The particular business there does have a permit from Durham for that structure and for the operation of chlorine. Every year, Durham goes out there and does their inspection reports, and they send me a copy of it showing the pictures that they take of the facilities to make sure that everything's in compliance with that permit. Also, in addition, I was able to find a license permit that was given by the city back in 2007, whereby it approved the use of that store for chlorine to be used as a chlorine business. And in that license agreement, it states there that they have to follow the IW5, which is the Durham permit for chlorine operations. So it does recognize that they do need a permit from Durham and that they did have it. In addition to it, Durham also regulates what they call occupational licenses for businesses that handle chemicals, and in that they require a license from the city, which they did provide at that time, plus the permit, the approval of the permit from the Durham permit department, let's say. So that's what I was able to find regarding that particular business.
I still go back to...
Can I answer to that one question?
I still go back to my original question. How could you allow a side road setback 2.5 feet? What if a car veered just a little bit? If that is a road, truly, a one-way road and not an alley.
Well, that's the next thing I wanted to mention.
Allow them to build that.
Also, many years ago, but let me finish regarding the roadway. We also contacted Dade County, because Dade County is the one that basically designates road characteristics, or road designation for traffic, for vehicle traffic, and they have no record that this alleyway was ever changed to a road. They don't have it, and I asked them, would it meet the requirements of a road if we wanted to change it now, and they said that if we tried to change it now, they would deny that request, because it's too narrow to be a one-way street, to meet the traffic standards that Dade County has for one-way roadways. So that's what they told me. This was 2 days ago that I got that from them.
You helped me a lot, but again, let's call it an alleyway. How do you build 2.5 feet off the edge of an alleyway? Everything has setbacks. Everything has setbacks. There is no setbacks there.
Steve, I understand what he's saying. I'm a farmer, and I have a business. Matter of fact, I dealt with it today. I have a fuel tank, and I also use chlorine. That I bought a lot of the chlorine from this company to run my beans and stuff. Yeah, I have to have my permits, but Durham and the other people do not look at zoning and setbacks. It's two different ball games. So they're trying to ride the pony on the permits that they have, but they do not have, and I've looked for it, I've had everybody look for it, and ain't nobody showed me a architect engineer drawing, anything just like my business meets all setbacks requirements I can't put up. They have yet showed me nothing for that tank or that fence or nothing. There is nothing that I found or the city's found, because I've been asking it for over 4 months. Show me something in writing, and I'll slow down on shutting up. But ain't nobody been able to show me. Sure, I went to Durham and got a permit for my fuel tank today. Did they ask me if I make setbacks or nothing like that? I meet their requirements on what the facility is, but it doesn't mean that I meet the setbacks of my requirements of the facility. So they're riding a pony it's a very gray area of what they're talking, and I've looked for it. The tank's never been permitted as far as I know. Matter of fact, People standing right here will tell you, if you go there in the morning, on a humid morning where it's low clouds and stuff, it'll burn your eyes and you can't even stay in the parking lot. The chief of police last council meeting, they asked me not to speak, that he would try to settle this for me. Him and I rode over there, and he will tell you we stood on my property, and we had to leave because it was burning our eyes and we couldn't breathe. He said, I got to go. He said, we'll talk about this somewhere else. And that was the exact words out of his mouth.
Well, it just doesn't add up to me, being in the building business as long as I have. How do you build something that close to the road? I don't get it. Tom, I don't get it.
Mr. Mayor?
You let a storm come or something, you're going to watch all that stuff's going to be on my property, nobody else's.
I don't know how it got built. Forget the tank, that structure around it. Did they come in and get a permit to do foundation and footing or cores? Or if it's a fence, I mean, you would have had to give them something, Tom.
They just rebuilt it. If you look at the pictures, they're only going to look like it does now.
Yeah, the problem here is that we're dealing with an issue that was approved in excess of a decade ago. So, there's an item on the agenda today that was approved without, and was built without council approval, which was required, and that was several years ago. This is over a decade ago. So the thing, and the staff has been working really hard to try to accommodate the concerns. The truth of the matter is that when neighbors are not getting along, it's never a great thing. And so I think...
Manager, I'll get along if he just quits interrupting my business.
But George, let's talk about it.
The problem was, Mayor, I appreciate at least a little time because allegations were made and I think questions were asked and we'd like to address them as best as we can.
Mr. Mayor?
It doesn't make a difference how old it is. If they're wrong, they're wrong. If they're right, they're right.
A good amount of time that we spent on this was on the presumption that this was a legal road, and this whole dispute is over the allegation that they're not... Is working?
Mr. Mayor, if I may speak?
Yes, Mr. Shelley, please.
I've dealt with staff with this. I've talked to George Wright a couple times on this issue as well. For me, the issue was it a road or not a road? If it's a road, then it doesn't need to be blocked because there needs to be access for the cars to go down that road. If it's in fact an alleyway, then the property owner has a right to block that road for loading and unloading purposes only. And so for me, that was where it hinged upon. And so I've had this discussion many times, and it seemed to come back that it was an alleyway. That seems to be the discussion that's had here tonight. However, what concerns me is the letters that I have here in front of me from ex-employees who worked on this project apparently. Because what I'm concerned about is if a property owner was told something by the city and representations were made by the city and they relied on those representations, it's unfair for us now to say, sorry, fend for yourself. And so my real concern here is what actually happened in this process. And I know that you guys have tried to reconstruct it because this occurred long before most of the staff members here were present. So it's been a difficult time to historically try to reconstruct what happened in this project. But I now have letters here in front of me that show that somebody's recollection who did work here at the time says that they did apparently make representations to Mr. Wright that it was going to be turned into a road. Now, whether that's true or not, I don't know, but I know it's enough for me to say we need to look into this more because ultimately it looks like this went through the CRA, not through the Developmental Services Department. And so I don't know if we looked at the CRA records. I don't know if we've looked into that aspect of it yet. But that's what concerns me the most here is that if we made representations and this property owner relied upon it, we need to work to make this situation right. If, on the other hand, no representations were made, then whatever the street is and what it was or was not designated controls, and we go forward from there.
Councilman, if I could, I haven't seen those letters yet. I've met with both Mr. Wright and the adjoining business owners. I would very much like to see them and consider them. As I've indicated to several members of council who have inquired about this matter, I can find no public record in either the planning and zoning minutes that have been reviewed or in council minutes regarding any conversion of this alleyway, and that's been confirmed now by county. So we will explore any options that are available and would appreciate any ideas or suggestions you might have. We would like to see nothing better than for both of these businesses to continue to prosper in our city.
But if I can add, I mean, there are two sides to this story, and also, absent any additional records, I mean, there's really not a whole lot more for us to do. We don't have records.
Even the law says...
It's been there for over a decade, and one person says there's a road there, one person says no, but there's no record of there being a road there.
And my concern is not necessarily is there isn't a road. My concern is that if a property owner went through our developmental process and the city of Homestead, nobody here that's working here now, but the city of Homestead as an entity made a representation to a property owner, and that property owner relied on that representation, then we have to honor that representation. And so that's what I'm asking is legally, maybe on the county tax rolls or the county option, it is in fact a road. But if I have these letters and you consult with these individuals, and I know they were just provided to us today, so I don't know that if it's true or not true, but what I'm saying is that there's enough here that we need to do more due diligence to find out what process was undertaken, what representations were made to the property owner, and then once we have that determined, we can better determine where to go from there. That's my concern more so than I understand that right now it says it's a road. But if representations were made, that's something that concerns me, and there's a fairness in that aspect that needs to be addressed. Thank you, Mr. Shelley. Chief Hall.
I just wanted to say one thing, because I did go out with Joy that night, and I was out there at, I think it was like 8:30, and in all honesty, and I even told this to the pool owner the next day, the chlorine was bad, it burned my eyes, and I had a problem with that. But my concern was that I wanted to make sure that if Dunn didn't have a problem with it, we didn't have a problem with it. I went to the owner the next day and I told him exactly what I found that night. And I told the owner, I said, maybe because it was late at night and the sun wasn't out.
Go ahead, Chief.
I also mentioned it to the owner, Ron, that maybe because it was late at night and the sun wasn't out, maybe that was the reason why the odor was so strong. He took me in the back and he told me this was a water-based solution, and I went out there and I touched it with my hands and I smelled it, and I couldn't smell it. So to be fair about it, late at night, 8:30, yeah, it was bad, but during the day, it wasn't bad. I have spoken to both owners, and to me, this is a problem that can be resolved without coming to council, in my opinion.
Thank you.
All you need to do is work together, because both of them has used the alleyway to unload and load their trucks. I've seen both trucks in the alleyway. So, George, and you got to tell the story straight.
I'm telling it straight. Okay. I have never unloaded my equipment in that alleyway.
Hold on now, because I've seen pictures. I've seen pictures from the pool guy, just like you showed me, that you had your truck parked in the alleyway as well. And I'm not saying it's right, but you guys need to get along, because what I saw when I went out there, it became too personal.
Mr. Roll?
And
Mr. Roll,
some of the things, I'm talking, George.
Okay.
And some of the things that I explained to you and I want you to do, I had a problem with that, because your concern was, in all honesty, and you told me this, you said, I don't have a problem with the parking truck out back, as long as it don't block my property. You wanted us to go out there and cite this guy, or cite his people for coming up, parking them, which I thought it was inappropriate. And my whole concern was, and I told you this, and I told Ron the same thing, you guys need to get together and work this out, because the alleyway should be used for everybody, not just for one person. Even though you have property, you bought property 2 years ago, 3 years ago, but this guy been here a long time. And he cannot have people come in front of his business and do chlorine in front of the business, and you got other businesses out front as well. So the back, in my opinion, is the best place to do it.
You said he can't have chlorine going in front of his business, but yet he can have chlorine going on in front of my business.
Well,
and that, to me, that's what it is, because they moved the building up where I conduct my business on the back side, exactly what you were just saying. And, and I'd like to see these pictures where I unload and load daily, 3 and 4 times a day every time.
Didn't say daily. You use the elevator.
I've done it daily. This goes on with me daily, day in, day out, all the time, blocking the access of my property. When I finish the mini warehouses, when it gets developed on the other end, the traffic's going to multiply triple. And then what are we going to have? I just want to say, and if you read the law the way it reads, now I read the law one time, it says you're allowed to stop and unload, but you cannot interrupt somebody else's business. If that's what I would like to see the law, where it does not say that, because the law thing that I read that was handed to me, that I cannot interrupt his business, and he cannot interrupt my business.
George, here's what we're going to do. We're going to put together a meeting. You're going to come in and sit down with the manager, or whoever he deems is the proper person. And I'm asking personally, Tom Lampert, I want to see the code on that setback. Because I'm telling you, it doesn't matter to me about loading, unloading. They should get along. I agree totally. But I'm telling you, you cannot build on a road or alley right away. You might be able to stop and load, unload. You can't build a structure I see in this picture right here. And that structure is built around that tank is brand new. This other picture he's got is the old wooden structure that was there. Did he or did he not come in and get a permit to build those 4 walls, those 3 walls?
Mr. Mayor, Council, they brought a permit application in to repair the existing fence that they have, right as you see in that picture.
They didn't repair it. But anyway, I don't say you didn't repair them, you can build on the right-of-way. You can't have that kind of setback. It doesn't exist unless you come in and get a variance and do something to some extent. You just can't build that close to it. We're going to get together, we're going to put something together where you come in and sit down. This is
All I'm asking, all I'm wanting for now, we've been doing this sitting down for 6 months. All I'm asking is to please stop interrupting my business and destroying my property with your quartering where it's running down, as you can see in the pictures. And I want one of you council members to look on the DadeCounty.gov picture right now, because I want it on this tape. You tell me if the alleyway on DadeCounty.gov does not say 4th Street.
No, it says 4th Road.
4th Road, I mean.
I already read it. It says 4th
DadeCounty.gov, it says 4th Road.
4th Road. That doesn't bother me, and the unloading and loading doesn't bother me as much as somebody concrete building 2.5 feet away from the edge of a road, and we say it's okay.
And the tank's not, I've talked to Dermot, I've talked to everybody, they don't have nothing to do with the setbacks. Okay, I'm sorry.
Thank you for what you brought forward.
Comments, sir?
Sure.
Thank you, Mayor.
I've been in the queue, too.
Can we also look at, as we reach out to the neighbors, and James, is this legal, where we put a stipulation, deliveries are only before 8:30 in the morning, or something like that?
And after 5 or 6.
Vice Mayor, the adjoining business owner is here this evening, as is the owner of the building that the tenant resides in. They're here, I'm sure, and can address, but I will say
I'm
that...
just trying to look at an amendable way.
And I appreciate that.
One of his main complaints is the interruption of his business. So perhaps we limit, I mean, other places, I don't know what the law says or what we have in place that could do that, but is that something that helps the situation as a start? And then
during the course of several
good neighbors.
During the course of several conversations with the parties, Vice Mayor, the tenant of Castaway Pool's owner has agreed and has tried to ensure that those deliveries from the larger tank truck that comes on a regular basis to his business does try to arrive before or after regular business hours.
But the chlorine of the fill of small tanks, a truck will pull in that have 20 small tanks behind it, and it takes as long for them to fill them 20 small tanks with a hose out on city property than it does the other, and that's the thing. I made a suggestion what I told them would fix the problem, and, what it is, I feel that the man don't want to spill the chlorine on his land because he knows it's going to tear it up. But that's my feelings, and
Mr. Williams,
see what you can do.
No. I just want to put on the record that, I've been in talk with you, George, now, yesterday, even a little heated yesterday, but we
Not like you were 10 minutes ago.
Hey, when you come at me wrong, I'm going to defend myself.
Yes, sir.
But as I told you then, I'm for what is right, and what's right is right, and so, I just want to put that on the record because I don't want anybody to leave here and it stated that I'm for something that is not right.
I agree.
If you produce these
Pictures don't lie.
pictures and records from other ex-employees that we just got, so I welcome the city.
Also, he went, Revlon Realty actually owns the building beside us, and I went and talked to him today, and he was misrepresentation about the driveway through, so he's fine.
Well, before you say that, because they sent us some letters in the mail.
And that's what I'm saying. I went and talked to him about that letter.
Okay.
And he was under the understanding, he was led
George.
one way, but we'd like to get it resolved.
Move on.
Let's move on.
Listen, I'm losing my Deco Garden people who came here to spend time. Okay, that's right.
I apologize, but I've been fighting this 4.5 years. I'm tired, guys. I'm really tired. And I'm just trying to develop what y'all want as a tax base in this town.
All right, I'm gonna ask Mr. Williams to sit down. Oh, would you like? I'll turn my lights on.
Yeah, I'll do that.
Mr. Williams, sit down with Mr. Wright and the proper staff. Get to the bottom of it. Look, the pool company, for the record, is my pool company. They've cleaned my pool for 2-3 years. They're a great company. Right is right, wrong is wrong. Simple as that. Now, Joe, next person, please. Thank you very much, Mr. Wright. Mr. Williams, I know you can handle it.
Oh, I got you.
Hello, my name is Brad Carter. I live at 29765 Southwest 164th Place. I just came to basically give a testimony on the situation y'all were talking about. I have a landscape and property maintenance company, and I have to take my business someplace else because I can't pull into the driveway.
Okay.
And this day and age where basically customer service and quality is what can separate you from your competition, it is hindering, Mr. Wright's business in being able to do that.
Okay. Well, you come to the meeting with him, please, and state that with Mr. Williams at the chair. All right? Yes, sir. Did we lose Deco Gardens completely? All right. Welcome back.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Kevin Sullivan, 1860 Southeast 6th Court, Homestead. I'm here tonight to say thanks to the crews that put in the sidewalk along Farm Life Drive. If you all remember, almost a year ago, we had 2 young men very elegantly spoke about the need for that, and I see the sidewalks in, but I've also addressed an issue with the Vice Mayor, who was absolutely great in getting back to me very quickly, about the additional sidewalks. But one thing that was interesting, when I was researching the new school on Maui Drive, I saw where the planning department found no problem not having sidewalks there. The public hearing for the Planning and Zoning Commission didn't ask for sidewalks to go in. And 2 readings before the city council, nobody looked to see that there was no sidewalks. So we have a brand new school, we have a brand new 2-lane road that's not very well done yet, but I guess it will be eventually, and we have no sidewalks. So the school has been open for over a month, so all I'm saying is we're all looking at doing things a different way in the city. Let's make sure when we have new businesses coming in, new schools coming in, we provide sidewalks. In this day and age, we as citizens of the city of Homestead shouldn't be putting any of our children out in the roadway. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Mayor.
Mayor, we'd like to address that, please.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, I would like to answer regarding the sidewalk. The road that the city is building does have sidewalks on both sides, 5-foot wide sidewalks, and it's basically a shared lane for bicycles and walkers.
We got sidewalks. Thank you. Yes, sir, we're going to keep it brief. I know that we went over, but go ahead.
Yeah, no, just Mark Leestenberg, good evening. I'm here just to elaborate a little bit on this Northeast 4th Road. I am the owner of the property in front of Mr. Wright's lawnmower shop. And I think some of the accusations that Mr. Wright has made is a little exaggerated. Yes, there are potholes in that road, but if you go down to the other end of the road, there's potholes all through that whole road. There's not chlorine deliveries all the way down there. I believe it's flour and other types of products that are coming in larger trucks for the bakery and so forth. As far as whether there's a permit or not on this tank, John Accurcio built that building for his son, Jimmy Accurcio. Jimmy was the first one to start a pool store in there in 1991, which is the original Durham inspection. I have the original inspection from Durham. It also shows that there was a fence around the property at that time. I've been in touch with Jimmy Accurcio. He's willing to give me affidavits that everything was done. He cannot produce a permit for me either because it's been over 20 years. He's moved up to North Carolina, and most of his records have been thrown away or destroyed. Unfortunately, John, he's passed away about 2 years ago. So I have Jimmy's word. I purchased that operation from him in 1996. When I came to the city of Homestead and got my occupational license, they were well aware that there was a chlorine tank on the property. In fact, I had to mention that to the clerk at the time, and because she asked me if there was going to be a chlorine tank, and I told them that I was taking over Pool Authority's operation. Possibly one of the reasons that tank was able to be built the way it was is you didn't follow through with the alleyway until around 2005, I believe. So at that time, the alleyway was completed. For a long time, we had to pull up on a rocky road there and fill up. We had an agreement with Greyhound Bus Station that would allow the large chlorine tanker to come in and fill from their parking lot. Mr. Wright cut us off on that agreement, which I don't have a problem with that. I was able to get the city to accommodate us and finish up the alleyway. So we've been using that as a pool store since 1991. Nothing's changed. I did allowed my tenant to repair the fence because the wood was starting to fall down, and I did check into the records, and it said that it was up to the discretion of the city, the building and zoning, whether you needed a permit or not for the repair. So I guess depending on the, I didn't get into detail on how much was considered a repair or, what was considered, major construction, but I did apply for that. But I'd like, as far as whether this is an alleyway or street, I'd like my attorney to speak.
Let me just quickly address one or two things you said there. Look, there are rules and regulations. There are setbacks to everything. Whether it was a dirt road or a rock road way back when, it's irrelevant. There is somewhere in the code that says you have to be X amount of feet off an alleyway or off a road. And I'm hoping that that comes back to us pretty quick because that thing encroaches. Somebody's going to turn that corner one day and they're going to hit that structure you have out there. And you know who they're going to sue? They're going to sue the city of Homestead. Then they're going to go back to this tape and they're going to say, you discussed this for 30, 40 minutes.
Well, you know what? I can't help what was done in 1991, and that's the way I bought the building. I bought it in good faith. I bought it to continue as a pool store. I ran it as a pool store. Due to health conditions, I had to sell out, or I'd still be there today.
Right.
But and that's the way I've sold it to my tenant. And as far as interrupting Mr. Wright's business, Ron has bent over backwards to have trucks pull off behind my building on my property and fill up these small 20 container vehicles, which when he's talking 20 containers, we're talking 2.5 gallons each. I can't tell you how expedient the guys will be when they're out there filling up, but they're not in the alley filling. They're off to the side. Now we have an issue with a one-way sign right now that's preventing his guys from pulling up and backing in nice and straight. So occasionally the corner of their vehicle might stick out a little bit. Once that sign's removed, I've given Ron the permission to pull a permit to get that area paved, but we will not be in the alley filling up small vehicles. The tanker comes at night. It's not in his way. There's only maybe 1 or 2 other vehicles, and this is not, 5, 10 times a day with these big vehicles. The chlorine tanker in the summertime comes maybe 3 times a week. In the wintertime, it might come once a week. So this is an issue right now that's, may or may not be relevant, but, anyways, as far as what my attorney has ascertained is that this has always been an alleyway.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen of the council. My name is Jonathan Rubin, 9360 Sunset Drive, Miami. Mr. Weisenberg did hire me to investigate the history of the alleyway, and I did meet with Public Works in Dade County last week. They provided me with a copy of the plat, which is the amended and extended Homestead map of Homestead. This plat is in existence since 1916, and the alleyways are part of the plat. The county informed me that if any change had to be done to the alleyway, it needs the county permission. And as the assistant city manager has conveyed, I don't believe the county will provide that. It's only a 12 feet wide alleyway. There are several alleyways in this subdivision in which it's the same type of dimensions, and there are no one-way signs anywhere to be found. This is the only alleyway in which there's a one-way sign. And as far as the Northeast 4th Road, the county did make a mistake. In fact, the property appraiser is correcting that mistake. Northeast 4th Road was vacated back in 1989 by the city of Homestead in order for that shopping center to have a parking area and landscaping. So in the next couple of weeks, you won't see that Northeast 4th Road. It will disappear. So that will explain that situation. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, sir. Yes, ma'am.
Hi, good evening. My name is Christine. I work for Mr. Wright, and the owner of the pool place says that their trucks unload and load after hours. Their trucks are there during the day, all day. We constantly have customers come in and complain about not being able to get out because of the trucks being there loading and unloading, and I'm just telling them, find another way out for now, just so, stuff is being solved. And it has become a problem to our customers. Some people say that they're going to go elsewhere because of the trucks being, and we have, big trucks with trailers trying to get into our parking space, and sometimes when their trucks are loading and unloading, they can't go in or out.
Well, thank you. You should be part of that meeting that Mr. Williams is going to chair.
Okay.
Thank you.
Hi, Council. I'm Ron Ellis. I'm the owner of the store. Sorry to tie your time up like with this tonight. I know you have a lot more important things to deal with. I'd like to defend myself by stating, they're talking that the road's being blocked up a lot, and I have countless hours of videotape showing that this is not fact. There's maybe 2-3 trucks a day. Average drop-off time, 5 to 10, less than 10 minutes on average to drop off products to the store. The trucks are in, the trucks are out. The chlorine truck was made arrangements to show up in the wee hours of the morning, somewhere between 3:30 and 6, so that would not inconvenience anybody. As far as personal vehicles pulling off, I've been using the small grass area where the one-way sign is to pull the vehicles off of the road to try to keep them out of the way as best as possible. I have tried every approach to rectify and come to a resolution and work with this gentleman on this subject, and everything basically I come to a dead end. I'm reaching out to council now in your guys' infinite wisdom to try to find some kind of pliable solution that will rectify this problem. I don't want to keep bothering council with this. You guys have much more important things to do. Kind of a little embarrassed to be up here and wasting your time. I've already seen other people that had things to say leave tonight, and that kind of bothers me.
Well, I feel confident that Mr. Williams will bring everybody together we need together, and it'll get resolved.
I do apologize, council. I'm here. I'm willing to work with anybody. I'm looking for some direction here, looking for an answer. Anything that you guys could offer me would be very much welcome.
Thank you.
Okay?
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Okay. Real quick.
Just so I'm clear, both parties are going to be at this meeting?
Yes.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure so that we can maybe get...
Where'd Chief go? We need somebody. Hey, Lieutenant. All right, just real quick, under public comment, for the rest of the council, Julio, Brea, that was Deco Gardens, the 8 or 10 people that had here. And you made that trip out there with me, you made the route. Can you explain to the council what they were here for?
Through Mayor and Council. The residents of Deco Gardens, which is, I guess, an adult facility, basically have requested trolley stop to be put in their, basically in the front of their facility. This stop would be approximately, I would say, about 500 yards from the main road that it travels now. I don't see it as an operational problem if we want to go that route. We're just looking for direction from council, but we could add it, and that wouldn't be a problem.
Mayor, I say absolutely, positively yes. I think for the quality of life for those residents, it will help them and enable them to be mobile and know where they need to go. So that's without a question, yes.
Okay, there's been a motion and a second. All in favor? Aye. Well, let's go ahead and get the second clearing, which was right next to the hospital. The medical center wants the same thing, and we visited that one.
Correct, and that one is just basically next door to the hospital, next door to the hospital.
Okay, motion?
Sure.
Second. All in favor? Aye. All right, direction done. All right, public comment. Well, is there anything else with public comment? Hearing none, seeing none. We got somebody else?
We love public comment.
No, public comment is done. Okay. Thank you very much. Yes. The next item is done. Okay. Here we go. Additions, deletions, and deferrals. Car number 627, revising the Centennial Event Budget Decision. Motion to move it. Move it. Thank you. Second. All in favor? Aye. Nays? Motion carries. All right, let's just go ahead and take that item now. They've been patient, and you want to get some direction from staff first? Staff, you want to give us something, then? Or do you want them to start?
I think Mr. Craig has an additional item, so.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. It's always a pleasure to follow a harmonious discussion. I too missed Kevin Sullivan, by the way. My name is Timothy L. Craig. I have the pleasure and privilege of being the vice chairman of the Centennial Steering Committee. I and my wife and my cats reside at 1865 Southeast 20th Avenue in Homestead. I'd like to explain why I'm here tonight. Ms. Yvonne C. Knowles, our hardworking and dedicated chairwoman of the Centennial Committee, had a conflict of interest. She has a chambers meeting. As you all know, we have only 7 members on our steering committee. We've divided up a division of labor. Unfortunately, I'm not the budget person. Yvonne and Mr. Steve Losner are the 2 budget people. However, it is my understanding and belief that you are all provided with this request for an additional $20,000 through the Gonia Salas, our hardworking PIO. I do want to thank the council recently for the $5,000 you added to our budget for the Radio Disney, and I also like to thank Councilwoman Patricia Faircloth McCormick for her invaluable assistance, support, and advice that she's provided us. If there is time, and I know we're running short of time, I would like to make some personal comments at the end of this time for myself, not speaking for the committee. But if there are any specific questions on the revised budget, yes. I would, again, Councilman Williams, I would, in my own apologies, perhaps you should submit those in writing, and I'll have either Ms. Knowles or Mr. Losner provide you a detailed response.
No, I'm not going to stop the process. I'm just asking, what is it for? What's the additional 20? Maybe I can ask Councilwoman Franco, what is the additional 20,000 for? That's all.
Well, within the budget, I see that we're including a book, and that's at about $11,000 that was not budgeted for, as well as some more ancillary activities for the February 2nd event to make it a grand production.
Okay.
So that's just the gist of the increase in the budget for the Centennial
Okay.
culminating activity.
Okay, so it's basically for some other, for the book that I know we talked about the book that we'd like to have done. Okay, that's fine, that's why I didn't want to wait to that.
I would like to add that, as Councilman Stephen Shelley pointed out at one point, the total 60,000 budget was pulled out of the air. And I will admit, I think we initially underestimated the original budget. There always are anticipated funds needed, contingency funds.
It's okay, go ahead.
Okay. I'll give you one quick example. Because we are sort of mandated to go by the lowest bidder for vendors, we purchased, the Centennial Committee purchased some caps, T-shirts, some Centennial products. They were not made in the United States of America. This is pointed out to me by several citizens. We have T-shirts from El Salvador and caps from China. I do know there are some local vendors, manufacturers here in Homestead or in the area who can provide us with made-in-USA products. I do understand, though, it would be a little more costly than from El Salvador and China. That's one example. The other problem was that although there have been great efforts on the part of our members of our Centennial Committee to raise funds through sponsorships, we have not been as successful as I would hope we have. I have a whole shtick on why I think a professional fundraiser should be employed. I'm more than happy to expound on that at a later time. I personally think that the budget should be, this is again speaking as an individual citizen, not speaking for the committee, I think our total budget should be $100,000. The total budget for the whole kit and caboodle. It's a 100th birthday, $100,000. This only happens once. But I'd be more than happy to expound upon that at a later time. If we do not use those funds, we will certainly return them to the city. Again, I appreciate the support, the assistance, the advice of the entire council, and I don't expect you to vote on this right now. I would like you to take it into consideration, and I will provide you with further documentation through email. As most of you know, I better email than I'm speaking.
So we're prepared to vote now.
Yeah.
We're done. You feel?
I guess Mayor?
No, it's not no 100,000, it's what we're...
Well, that's what my question is. We're not expecting the committee to come...
No, absolutely not. But I would like you to consider it.
You're not expecting the committee to come back for another 20 grand. That'll make it 100.
Oh, no, I wouldn't.
So this is 80, right? Total of 80,000?
We just need direction on what you want to do.
Where are we taking it from? I see incumbent.
The official
This brings us
request
60.
This official request is for an additional 20, but Mr.
So we already gave him 60. This is for 80.
We'll take whatever you can give us.
There you go.
But we want 100. So while we're giving tonight...
80 sounds good. You ready?
Okay, that's fine.
Okay. We have a motion to move it on? Motion to
Move it.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Nays? Item carries. Thank you, Mr.
Thank you very much.
Yes, sir. Consent?
Move it.
Thank you. Consent agenda? Motion?
Second.
Move it. Second. Thank you.
Excuse me, Mr. Mayor, we need to have a tab removed from the consent agenda, so Mr. Burgess can vote on it separately.
Tab 2. Okay. Tab 2 of the consent agenda.
Yes, tab 2 of the...
Well, he left the dais, so why do you want to remove it?
Because you're going to vote on the consent agenda, then you're going to quickly vote on this other item.
Okay, we're going to move tab 2 from the consent agenda. So we're going to vote first on the consent agenda, which we did already. All in favor?
Aye.
Second, opposed? Yeah, we've moved the second.
I moved it, and somebody seconded it. That's
Second, okay. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Nays? Item carries. Okay, tab 2.
Just need a motion and a second.
Move it.
Thank you. Second, thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Item carries.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
So, moving on to the quasi-judicial section of your agenda, please be advised the following items on the agenda are quasi-judicial in nature. If you wish to comment upon any of these items, please indicate the item number you would like to address when the announcement regarding the quasi-judicial item is made. An opportunity for persons to speak on each item will be made available after the applicant and staff have made their presentations on each item. Swearing in, all testimony, including public testimony and evidence, will be made under oath or affirmation. Additionally, each person who gives testimony may be subject to cross-examination. If you do not wish to either be cross-examined or sworn, your testimony will be given its due weight. The general public will not be permitted to cross-examine witnesses, but the public may request the counsel to ask questions of staff or witnesses on their behalf. The full agenda packet on each item is hereby entered into the record. Persons representing organizations must present evidence of their authority to speak for the organization, and further details of the quasi-judicial procedures may be obtained from the clerk. In accordance with Code Section 2-591, any lobbyist must register before addressing the council on any of the following items. At this time, council members must disclose any ex parte communications concerning any of the items on the agenda. Hearing none, at this time the clerk will swear in any persons who wish to testify on any of the following quasi-judicial items.
Please stand. Raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, please state your name, hereby swear or affirm that the information I present shall be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help me God. Thank you. You may be seated.
Your first item for consideration is tab 17. This is the second reading of an ordinance of the City of Homestead, Florida, considering the request by the City of Homestead for a rezoning of an approximately 25,669 square foot parcel from Restricted Retail Commercial District B1 to Professional Business Restricted District B1A for property located at 104 Northwest 12th Street as legally described in Exhibit A and providing for an effective date. This is second and final reading.
I'll entertain a motion. Move to the second. Staff report, please.
Yes, sir. The staff recommends that the council approve the proposed ordinance requesting this rezoning from Restricted Retail Commercial District to Professional Business Restricted District. This parcel has an existing daycare facility on it. It's associated with planned expansion for a charter school with ancillary recreation and parking. The parcel currently contains restricted retail commercial, like I said, in B1, and has a future land use designation of PMU, or professional mixed use. And this allows the proposed charter school, but what it doesn't allow is the existing daycare center. This PMU designation is implemented by the B1A professional district. The proposed rezoning is necessary to provide consistency between the future land use map and the zoning designation. This request is being made because during the analysis for this school, staff found that the 2010 rezoning for the portion of the parcel was approved administratively and not by an act of council as required by the code. In addition, the daycare site was approved without zoning or land use consistency, which is required by the city's comprehensive plan.
Thank you. Any questions from council? Hearing none or seeing none. Any questions or comments from the public? Hearing none or seeing any, I will now close the public hearing. Any final questions from the council? Take your roll, please. Roll call.
Councilwoman Woolman?
Yes.
Councilwoman Fairclough McCormick?
Yes.
Councilman Schilling?
Yes.
Councilman Williams?
Yes.
Councilman Maldonado?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Burgess?
Yes.
The motion carries.
Next item, please.
Yes, tab 18 is the second reading of an ordinance of the City of Homestead, Florida, considering the request by the City of Homestead for a rezoning of 4 separate parcels from Parking District P to Professional Business Restricted District B1A for properties located at 119, 127, 135, and 143 Northwest 11th Street as legally described in Exhibit A and providing for an effective date. Second and final reading.
I'll entertain a motion for approval.
Move it.
Second. It's been seconded. Thank you. Staff report, please.
Yes, sir. We recommend that the mayor and council approve the proposed ordinance requesting this rezoning from Parking District to Professional Business Restricted District B1A. This is a companion item to the item we just addressed, and it's really a cleanup item to make sure that those zoning designations have a future land use designation that's consistent with the zoning code so that it can be approved.
Any questions from the council? Anybody from the public who'd like to speak? I'll open up the public hearing. Hearing none, seeing none, I'll close the public hearing. Any last comments from the council? Roll call, please.
Councilman Williams?
Yes.
Councilman Maldonado?
Yes.
Councilwoman Woolman?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Burgess?
Yes.
Councilwoman Fairclough McCormick?
Yes.
Councilman Shelly?
Yes.
The motion carries.
That concludes your quasi-judicial items. Moving on to your legislative items. First item for consideration is tab 19. This is the second reading of an ordinance of the City of Homestead, Florida, amending the City Code of Ordinances by amending Chapter 30 zoning, Article 3 District Regulations, Division 10, B1A Professional Business Restricted District, Section 30-241 Uses Permitted, and further amending Article 4 Supplemental District Regulations, Division 8 Special Exceptions, Section 30-531 established to provide that daycare shall be permitted as a special exception use within the B1A Professional Business Restricted District, providing for severability, providing for inclusion in the code, providing for conflicts, and providing for an effective date. This is second and final reading.
I'll entertain a motion for approval.
Move it.
Move as a second.
Second.
And seconded. Thank you. Staff report, please.
Yes, sir. We recommend that the council approve the proposed ordinance amending the Professional Business Restricted Zoning District B1A list of permitted uses to authorize the daycares as a special exception, and to include them requiring a public hearing in the B1A district. Like I said, again, this is the third companion item to this issue, which we found was essentially administratively rezoned. This allows us to implement the daycare by inserting that use as a special exception into the zoning category.
Thank you. Any questions from the council? Any questions from the public? I'll now open the public hearing. Seeing none, hearing none, I'll close the public hearing. Any last questions from the council? The roll call, please.
Councilwoman Wallman?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Burgess?
Yes.
Councilwoman Fairclough McCormick?
Yes.
Councilman Shelly?
Yes.
Councilman Williams?
Yes.
Councilman Maldonado?
Yes.
The motion carries.
Next item, please.
Yes. Next item is tab 20. Tab 20 is the second reading of an ordinance of the City of Homestead, Florida, creating Section 22.5-310, excess benefit arrangement in the city code to establish an excess benefit arrangement in accordance with Section 415M of the Internal Revenue Code, providing for implementation, providing for inclusion in the code, providing for severability, and providing for an effective date. This is second and final reading.
Entertain a motion.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Staff report, please.
On or around July 1st, 2011, the city entered into a settlement agreement with Maud Shahada, which resolved all of the pending issues between the city and Mr. Shahada relating to Mr. Shahada's employment with the city. In order to fully implement the agreement and comply with the IRS, the plan needs to implement an EBA. The attached ordinance, which establishes the EBA, was drafted by the plan's attorney in compliance with the IRS. The plan's actuary prepared a financial impact statement indicating that the establishment of the EBA will not have a financial impact on the city. Staff's recommendation to Mayor and Council approve the attached ordinance, establishing an excess benefit arrangement and a new elected official and senior management retirement system according to Section 415M of the IRS Code.
Any questions from the council? I will now open up the public hearing. Any questions from the public? Hearing none, seeing none, I will close that. Any last comments from the council? You do the roll call.
Councilwoman Fairclough McCormick?
Yes.
Councilman Shelly?
Yes.
Councilman Williams?
Yes.
Councilman Maldonado?
Yes.
Councilwoman Wallman?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Burgess?
Yes.
The motion carries.
Next item, please.
Next item is tab 21.
Yes. Car number 621.
Right. Sure. Give me 1 second, sorry. It's a resolution of the City Council of the City of Homestead, Florida.
It's a motion, I thought it was.
Yes, it's just a motion.
It's car number 621, ITB 201-205, infiltration and inflow reduction project.
I'll entertain a motion.
Second.
Move it. Moved and seconded. Staff report.
City received the Disaster Recovery Initiative Community Development Block Grant through Miami-Dade County for the purpose of funding housing and infrastructure rehabilitation as a result of Hurricane Wilma. The scope of the work for the infiltration and inflow project will reduce the amount of clean water that is being processed at the water treatment plant due to infiltration of stormwater. The bid must be awarded contingent on the county's approval, as the county must review and approve final award before notice to proceed is issued. Staff recommends the mayor and council approve the infiltration and inflow reduction project bid award contingent on Miami-Dade County's approval of award.
Questions from the council? Hearing none, seeing none. Anybody from the public like to speak? Public comment. Hearing none, seeing none. Any last questions from the council? Roll call, please.
Councilman Williams?
Yes.
Councilman Maldonado?
Yes.
Councilwoman Waldman?
Yes.
Councilwoman Fairclough McCormick?
Yes.
Councilman Shelley?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Burgess?
Yes.
The motion carries.
Thank you. Next item, please.
Yes, next item is tab 22, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Homestead, Florida, approving lobbying services agreement and recognizes competitive bidding exemption for lobbying services agreement between the city and Fuentes Rodriguez Consulting Group in accordance with City Code Section 2-411.1A2, exemptions from competitive bidding, providing for renewal, providing for an effective date.
I'll entertain a motion, please.
Move it.
Moved, second.
I second with discussion.
Seconded with discussion. Staff report, please.
It's staff's recommendation the mayor and council approve the attached resolution authorizing the city manager to enter into agreement and allowance for renewal, the agreement for successive annual periods upon substantially the same terms and conditions with Fuentes Rodriguez Consulting Group, permitting FRCG to continue their representation of the city with federal, state, regional, and local governments as regards to legislative matters. This agreement is for a term of 1 year, October 1st, 2012 through September 20, 2013, payable in the amount of $2,500 per month. This request is in accordance with Section 2-411.1A2 of the City Code, exemption for competitive bidding for professional services.
Thank you. Mr. Williams.
Yes. Do we have anywhere in the contract where we get updates monthly on some of the work or progress that they are lobbying efforts on for us?
They'd be happy to do anything you'd like, so if you'd like...
Hold on. Well, let me just give an example. For instance, I know we're voting on Bob Levy, but he sends periodic updates on what's going on in Tallahassee, and you really kind of what you're getting, and you know what he's doing or updating information, something that may be critical for us. And so what I like to see done, because I'm going to prove it, I have no problem with Fuentes and Rodriguez, I think they're excellent. But sometimes I like to have an update on other projects that they're working on behalf of the city, so that we'll be able to, if there's an issue coming up and watch what they're doing federal for us as well.
Sure.
Any issues that may be apprising of Homestead that we should know. I mean, maybe it's just me or my colleagues here may disagree with me.
That's fair.
Yeah. So therefore, I know we probably never required it, but I think as with the technology age that we're in now, we're able to have those kind of updates. Bob Levy does a great job.
You looking for like a quarterly report? Bi-monthly?
It doesn't necessarily have to be quarterly. It's updates. Well, I mean, I guess it could be monthly. I guess if we're going into legislative sessions, there's some issues going on that may need our attention.
We'll ask them to enhance their communications and as
They have a representative here. Perhaps he'd like to come up and address it.
Vice Mayor?
Yes, a couple representatives here, don't they?
Okay. As he's coming to the microphone, I just want to say that as far as, I think Bob Levy does a great job of informing us. I mean, I get, I don't know how many emails a day.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure we all get the same one, and we always know. I know that y'all are working really hard behind the scenes, with your firm. But I just want to piggyback on Mr. Williams' comment, because it is nice to have an email now and again to say, this is what we've been working on, this is what we're striving to achieve. Is that the hint you're going with, Mr. Williams?
Oh, yeah. I think the firm is...
I'm not talking about a report or anything.
No. I think the firm does a great job behind the scenes, helping. But then at the same time, persons may look at these items in the budget and say, what do they lobby for us?
Right.
So I'm just trying to bring clarity, and then that way, if we have a question, then we're able to say, well, they provide us updates, the major things that may be coming before us that's going to affect the homestead. We're right on it, and so I just think that communication a little bit more. I don't think that's too hard.
Mr. Candia?
No, thank you, Richard Candia. Point well taken. We provided you with weekly reports during the legislative session, but we can do those throughout the year if you would like.
You say that again now? You provide what?
We provided weekly reports during the legislative session, and we can be a little more.
I don't think I got them.
Well,
but I would just say, if you if you have, just include me on the email. I don't know if my other
Well,
colleagues...
and I'll work, okay, that's fine.
So I don't want you to say something that you may
No,
not
no,
already
I didn't.
doing. Okay, all right.
Any other questions or comments? Any questions or comments from the applicant? Thank you.
Thank you.
Any comments from the public? Hearing none, seeing none, I'll close the public hearing. Any last comments from council? Roll call, please.
Councilwoman Waldman,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Burgess,
Yes.
Councilwoman Fairclough McCormick,
Yes.
Councilman Shelley,
Yes.
Councilman Williams,
Yes.
Councilman Maldonado.
Yes.
The motion carries.
Next item, please.
Yes, next item is tab 23. It's a resolution of the City Council of the City of Homestead, Florida, approving lobbying services agreement and recognizing competitive bidding exemption for lobbying services agreement between the city and Robert M. Levy and Associates, Inc., in accordance with City Code Section 2-411.1A2, exemptions from competitive bidding, providing for renewal and providing for an effective date.
Move it, Vice Mayor.
Second?
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Thank you. Staff report, please.
Staff's recommendation, Mayor and Council approve the attached resolution authorizing the city manager to enter into an agreement allowing for renewing the agreement for successive annual periods upon substantial, will leave the same terms and conditions with Robert M. Levy and Associates, permitting Robert M. Levy and Associates to continue their representation of the city in Tallahassee, Florida, with regards to legislative matters. This agreement is for a term of 2 years, October 1st, 2012 through September 30th, 2014, and payable in the amount of $2,500 per month. This request is in accordance with Section 2-411.1A2 of the City Code, exemption from competitive bidding for professional services.
Questions from council? Hearing none, I'll open the public hearing. Questions from the public? Hearing none, seeing none, I'll close the public hearing. Final questions from council.
Yes, Mayor, just wanted to reiterate what I said. So I'm equal across the board with all lobbyists that are coming before us for contracts, that they that there's some kind of communication or updates. So I'm not picking on one and not the other. Okay?
Okay, thank you. All right, final questions from council. Madam Clerk, call the roll.
Councilwoman Fairclough McCormick,
Yes.
Councilman Shelley,
Yes.
Councilman Williams,
Yes.
Councilman Maldonado,
Yes.
Councilwoman Waldman,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Burgess,
Yes.
Mayor Bateman.
Yes.
The motion carries.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Car number 620, governmental relationship agreement.
Move it.
Thank you. Are we there?
Yeah, we're done.
No, March 16.
We're done.
We're
done, man.
Okay, this is for the manager.
I just wanted to mention that we asked for a meeting for next week, which I believe is scheduled, Elizabeth, on Monday for City Hall discussions. So I just thought I'd mention that. We appreciate everyone's attendance. And we're going to try to get you as much of the information as possible. As soon as we're waiting for one last piece, we're hoping to have it by tomorrow. Worst case scenario, we'll have the whole package for you on Friday. And one other thing, some good news, Allison Love, our Assistant City Manager, her daughter just passed her bar exam. And
Oh, excellent.
Hey, Richard, you got any spots over there at...
She's as smart as her mother. I hired her right away.
I want that on record now.
Okay, Richard, questions? Anything from attorneys? Councilman Maldonado.
Thank you, Mayor. Just quickly, just an update. I met with the new regional superintendent, Dr. Martinez, just this week. He's going to be joining our education committee and working along the set of Homestead Education Committee's other colleagues, and just making sure that we're getting that attention that we need in our public school systems. They're bringing many programs, Cambridge programs, programs that are focused on vocational, and I'm glad to see that he's on board. Superintendent that's been in the trenches for many years, and I think he's just going to do great things here. And just want to mention I will be attending this Saturday's event, so hope to see everyone out there. And I'm sure Ms. Fairclough McCormick will kind of enlighten us more on what's happening there. That's it for me. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilwoman Wallman.
Thank you, Mayor.
Yes.
Because this has been a long meeting, I was going to talk a little bit about the Kindness Awards, but I'll do that at the next meeting. I just want to say thank you to everybody and thanks to everybody for coming. The important things though that I really need to mention tonight, the Relay for Life is having their kickoff party at the Community Center on Thursday, September 27th from 7 to 9 p.m. And there's going to be food, music, pizzas, and a great group of people all working for a great cause, and that's going to be our relay. It's going to be back at the hospital this year, so it's going to be great, and I encourage you all to attend. The Halloween party, the city's Halloween party, the trunk and treat, that's going to be actually on Halloween night. So we're very excited about that. I encourage parents to utilize the city event, keeping our children off the streets, supervised, and in a contained area. I know that I'm going to encourage my community to attend the trunk and treat because last year, I mean, I couldn't believe how many kids were unsupervised and just running around, roaming around. So look on the city website, there'll be more information, but the trunk and treat will be on Halloween night, and it's going to be a lot of fun. Pardon me? It's going to be at Harrisville. Also, I just want to remind everybody that October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. It's coming up here. As a breast cancer survivor, I can't tell you how important it is to have your checkups because early detection does save a life. It saved mine. So hopefully I'm going to be doing some sort of a rally in October, making women and men aware that it's very important that you get your checkups. So stay tuned on that one. Also, I just want to compliment Barbara Quinones and Cherry and their staff, everybody, the line crew, because I thought we were going to lose power about 8 times tonight. So that must have been a bad storm out there. So good job, and thank you. And that's why we have a great utilities department. So thanks a lot, Mayor.
Thank you, Ms. Wallman. Councilwoman Fairclough Performing.
Yes. I just wanted to remind everyone of our Children's Day event this Saturday. We have a host of activities planned for our pre-K through senior high school students. We have a mobile video game unit. I'm sure the Taylor Tribe Middle School and high school students, bounce houses, K-9 demonstration, Master Chef demonstration. And we will be announcing the winners of the student contest at 1 p.m. and the winner must be present unless there's an emergency. So I would invite everyone to come out and celebrate Children's Day as a part of our Centennial Day celebration. In addition to that, the Mayor's Youth Council has been getting a lot of buzz in the community. I'm in Walmart and parents are asking me about it. I was at the Region today and teachers were asking me about it. They were concerned as to whether or not their children had to attend a school in Homestead or live in the city of Homestead. So to provide clarity to that, if the child attends the school in Homestead, they may apply for NYC. If they live in the city of Homestead, they may apply for NYC. So hurry those applications in, and we will be announcing the members of the Mayor's Youth Council very soon. And finally, the Miami-Dade County Public School Board is gearing up for Principal for a Day. So if you are a business representative or city staff or assistant city manager who used to be a history teacher, if you would like to serve as principal for a day, I've had several principals ask me to be their principal for a day, but I will be hosting Matt Beecher, the president of the Homestead Miami Speedway, at my school, so I will need someone to attend the other schools. So if you are interested in serving as principal for a day, please let me know, and I'll find you a school in the city of Homestead. That's all.
Excellent. Thank you. Councilman Shelley.
Thank you, Mayor. I just have 2 items. The first is just to inform everybody that this weekend at the Homestead Miami Speedway, they're having the Triumph Big Kahuna Miami 2012 Nationals, which is a motorcycle road race there. It goes on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Friday it starts at 9, and Saturday and Sunday it starts at 7, and it's an all-day event. So I encourage, after Children's Day though, on Saturday. So I wanted to let everyone know that that event's going on. I encourage everyone to go out to the track and see the motorcycles race around the arena. The other thing I wanted to raise was A few weeks ago, I had a conversation with a representative of the news leader who informed me that I guess the city of Homestead does not do our advertising for certain things that we have, for our public hearings with the local paper, that I guess we're using the Daily Business Review for items that we could have used a local newspaper for. I know Florida City uses the news leader, and so I'd like to ask my fellow council members to give direction to staff that whenever possible to use the local paper. I know that we're very big on local businesses, and the news leader is a local business, and so I'd like to ask my fellow council members to join me in directing staff to, whenever possible, use the local paper for our advertisements and things of that nature.
Councilman Shelley, I'm on board with you. I will support that effort.
Thank you very much.
Second that. Excellent. Councilman Williams.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
I want to thank our great and illustrious attorney for helping with this resolution. I pass it out before you, and I want to apologize for the format of it now, but I just wanted to get it in your hands, and hopefully we will be able to put this on the next council agenda for this resolution to be passed. And it's a resolution that is helping to aid and support and applaud the students working students working against tobacco. So this is just a resolution to help and aid and assist them in their endeavor and support. They came here last council meeting and did a great job, and I told them that I would like to help and aid and assist. So hopefully next council meeting will be able to...
I think unless there's an objection, it could be read and you can vote on it, and the kids could have it tomorrow unless there's somebody has a problem with it.
No problem.
No, I didn't keep a
Motion,
copy.
move it.
So we just read the title.
Second. Jim, you want to read the title?
Sure. Go ahead, Richard, read the title.
I don't have
Pass one down to Richard.
The resolution of the City Council of the City of Homestead, Florida, applauding and supporting the efforts of SWAT, students working against tobacco, to equip youth to revolt against and de-glamorize tobacco.
Okay, we got a motion with a second. All in favor?
Aye.
All right, done. What's SWAT stand for?
So, students working against tobacco.
So we add that to the resolution, the full name, the definition of
Students
SWAT.
working against tobacco.
So Elizabeth, we did this quickly. If you don't mind, if you could fix this up for him so he has it tomorrow. Thank you.
Thank you so much, my colleagues, for your effort and support in that. The second thing, let me thank the Utilities Department, the Director, Barbara, for getting those issues that I brought up at the last council meeting with Turner Circle and 4th Street, the lights being out. Thank you so much for your attentiveness to that matter. And that is all for right now, Mayor. I'll come back with the planning stage of the Martin Luther King breakfast. I didn't close it.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Burgess, Vice Mayor.
Thank you, Mayor. We had one gentleman that missed his chance at public comment, so if the council would indulge, I would like to give him a couple minutes to speak quickly.
Hi, my name's Tim Williams. I'm with Williams Agricultural Enterprises with offices at 28105 Southwest 157th Avenue in Homestead, Florida. It's great to be back in the city of Homestead tonight. As many of you know, I've spent a lot of time in North Florida where I live, so it's great to be back. We do have one commercial property still here that we've been working on for a very long time. I want to thank you all for considering and accepting the release of service area. That's going to be a great benefit to whoever we get on the site. And in that regard, I just want to point out that perhaps we will do a hotel. I know I put a comprehensive package together that covered some of our pro forma that we had our consultant provide, and you can see that that would be a successful project. But I understand there's another group in town that may desire to do that same thing on their site. We don't know if the market area can handle one or two. It's my hope that they can handle two. But either way, I wanted to assure you, perhaps two restaurants, perhaps a car dealership. We're exploring several scenarios. All of them seem viable, so that's exciting. But I hope that you'll consider our site as the upcoming CDBG grant process unfolds. We're going to be creating jobs. We want to bring that property onto the tax roll, and we want to create as many jobs as possible. Our current desired development scenario calls for an extended stay hotel and an out parcel for a restaurant. So you're looking at as many as 120 jobs on that site. So here's a letter that covers that request, and I was happy to meet with your city manager, Gretzis, and assistant city manager, Julio Brea. They've both been great help in this process so far, and the sooner we can bring you a development, the better. So I'll pass this out. Thank you.
It's music to our ears. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, for letting him speak.
Sure.
One thing that I would like to bring up is that Comcast, and this may have been mentioned, but I know that Miami-Dade County League of Cities were speaking about it, and they gave a presentation to all families in the Miami-Dade area, Broward area. If they have a child that's receiving free lunches or assistance at school of that way, they can, and their goal is to get as many kids as they can on it. They understand that a lot of people can't afford the internet. So for $9.95 a month, Comcast will give that family internet at their house as long as they have a child in school that's receiving a free or reduced lunch. And that is good, and from whenever that child starts until the time they graduate from high school. So I think that's a great program that Comcast is offering out, and I just wanted to share that with all of our public out there, that that's out there for anybody that would like to take advantage of it. There's 100,000 kids that receive this, and to this date, they only have, like, I believe it's 7,000 people have signed up. So there's a great population that's missing out on an opportunity for a lot of the kids. One other thing I'd like to mention, we've all been seeing the crowds here for the dogs and the help that they're looking for, and on October the 27th, on Saturday night from 6:30 to 9:30, one of the great organizations down here in South Dade called This Is the Dog is going to be holding a fundraiser at the White Lion here in Homestead called Yappy Hour. Bring your dog out. It's looks like it's an Elvis theme this year, so if you've got a dog that wants to dress up as Elvis, perhaps we could get him out there. But anyway, I've got flyers if anybody's interested on that. Thank you. To Mr. Brea, several residents have asked me about Farm Life and Canal Road with the amount of traffic at that intersection. If there's a chance of seeing with the county if we can get turn arrows on the signals. I know there's an expansion of that road sometime in the future, we're hoping, after we get all the issues worked out, but is there a possibility that we could just ask them to, I know there's a study involved and all that, perhaps we can get the ball rolling before we get...
We'll move forward on that.
Thank you, sir. At the last meeting, I spoke about the Goodwill trailers and the containers around town. Could I get an update on that from whomever?
Yes, sir, we're in the process of processing that ordinance. We just need to add the Goodwill portion of it yet. We've contacted Goodwill and been in touch with those guys, and so we'll have that at your next council meeting.
Okay, thank you very much. One last thing, Mayor, at the end of our last meeting, I kind of was in wrap-up mode, and you had asked to become the negotiator with Lillet. And when I went back and read their proposal of what they've all got, they've got many items in there. And I personally would like to have maybe an executive session or whatever it would be before you went there, just so we're all kind of clear on what they had, because they had many requests in their thing. And for me personally, sending you there, I would like to, so that you know what everybody's thinking, if we could perhaps have a meeting on that. And I think that would maybe save a lot of time in the long run also.
Okay.
So that's a question for everybody up here.
You want that to be a closed door meeting?
I think it would probably have to be.
It should be, because we're in...
Since we're in litigation.
Formally request an executive session.
Yeah, for me to be comfortable, I mean, I went through and read all of their requests or things that they would like.
I have talked since then, so we kind of slowed things down and made some requests. And,
We would schedule that as soon as you can.
Okay.
Thank you, Mayor. That's all I have for tonight.
Thank you.
Can I just piggyback off of something that Vice Mayor Burgess brought, and it's regards to kind of a traffic flow. 312 and 162nd, the entrance to the turnpike. I guess I got a kind of question. I don't know who to direct this to, but it's if we're going to eventually become 312, if it becomes a state road, will we have any say in what needs to happen there? And again, my concern is really just that entrance to the turnpike. I know we've had some accidents. In the morning, it's pretty, difficult to bypass for all the parents bringing students. to school and everyone trying to get to work at the same time. So we have I'm seeing a lot of backups there as I try to take my children to school. So it's a concern, and again, just because I don't know what's going to happen with the road in the future, with the exchanging of Chrome and 312, is that going to be an issue? So kind of just piggybacking off traffic, and
Yeah, go ahead.
if you guys could work on that or give us some feedback information, it'd be greatly appreciated and looked into.
We'll take a look at it and see what we can come up with.
Just to add on to that, if I could, Mr. Brea, I know that there's plans for some expansion to the turnpike down here. And as I sit there and drive up to that intersection during the morning, I see cars turning again. There seems to have been a right-of-way or a road that was done away with in the past that's on property owned by the turnpike.
Correct, and that's,
So
the plan is to
and that would
put a
be
turn.
traffic straight across,
Correct.
traffic turning right and merging in.
That would be
So to get
the-
to that, is there any way that we can get to them and ask them and let them know that, you know, is they're going to do this project, can we get money for that project to help the city alleviate, a double crossing, which then impedes the traffic coming eastbound also?
Correct.
I mean,
We have already voiced our concerns about that intersection regarding that particular issue to making a right turn entrance into the turnpike in that property that they already own. So they're aware of our needs there, and we'll continue to reiterate our position on that.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, sir. The first item I have is really kind of housekeeping, and that is on our original committee assignments, the Mayor's Economic Business and Development Committee did not seem to get voted on by the council, so I need a motion to move that on. It's on our original committee assignment sheet here. Thank you. Second. Thank you. All in favor? Aye. Thank you. Nays? Item carries. All right, the second thing I have is the Mayor's Policing and Citizens Crime Watch is going to happen Oasis Clubhouse, 171 Northeast 30th Road here in Homestead on September 25th from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. And that'll be during one of their homeowners meetings. The last item I talked earlier about is the Alger letter. Did you got a copy, Mr. Manager? Alger letter is a pretty powerful letter. The next item, that piece of the puzzle comes along would be the national firm commitments that they get. And then at that time, we'll step up to the plate to do whatever we can do or going to do, and may not have to do nothing before it's over with. The monies may be in place, everything may be go along without the city of Homestead having to do too much at all. So it is a good thing happening. The point they brought up is a good point, and I think we're lucky to have the governor on our side on this issue. Because if you remember, Chief and the manager and I and 2 or 3 others, we drove around Homestead for 4.5 hours only to get a letter 2 weeks later that looked like we weren't ever going to get it just like it wasn't legal to do, you know. And now I think that is a different issue, and I think that we're more than halfway down the road. That's it. Thank you very much. Motion to adjourn. Motion. Thank you.
18 feet down, huh?
Jimmy, you want to be a
Put down.
I think Jimmy said